Grand rising, grand arrival, grand return. Peace and blessings to the righteous and the repentant alike. I am Cleopadra Sophia the Bodhi, and this is a quick video. I have been talking about, I'm going to have to start this video over. All right, here we go. I have been talking about, some of you guys remember these. These are the, this is a symbol for Emrudue, okay? And this is the 13th lunar mansion, the lucky lunar mansion, okay? And so, I get it now. So I have been talking about how I want for the things that I've already done to just be activated, okay? And so that was one of the things. So if you've been over here for a while, I sent a bunch of these out to people. Some people are still holding packets of these. And so I wanted to be able to activate these the way they were. Now, this is one that I just made because I wanted to activate some new ones because my energy is already in the other ones. I just need the symbol, what I actually drew, because I drew these out by hand to be active, even if they weren't perfect, right? Because don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. Don't let perfect be the enemy of the done. Like, don't let perfect be the enemy. And so I just been looking for how to resolve this issue. And so I started ordering parts to do some new ones, okay? And it's not that I don't have the parts to do the old ones. It's just that I got some new ideas and some new things, some new clarifications with all this new knowledge. So I wanted to see if I tweak some things on the newer ones, right, and show that I learned the lesson, not through struggle and stress, but I just learned the lesson and figured out what was wrong, if that would work to activate the old ones, okay? So this is what I want to tell you about this particular symbol. Let me pull my notes. Why I didn't do all of this beforehand, I cannot tell you. Here we go. So I have been studying a topic that I'm not going to go into too much detail about right now, because I'm going to need to make a whole video, and I don't want to just throw some weird knowledge out there, okay? So, but this is to say that I retranslated Emrudue's name into Etruscan, okay? And so when I retranslated the name, I was looking to see what the story of this entity was, right? Because like I said, all these entities are somewhere. Like, there's nowhere that these entities aren't. And so I was like, okay, well, let me see if I see something that will trigger, what the God, who's over this lunar mansion is, because this is lunar mansion, like I mentioned, 13. And so I found the god name is Shu. And Shu is a Egyptian god. He is the first creation from the creator. And he has a twin, and her name is Tefnut. And Shu is the god of air, right? And Tefnut is the god of moisture, because the creator god, who is Atum, he created Shu and Tefnut when he sneezed. And when he sneezed, the air that came out was Shu, and the moisture that came out was the dew, which is Tefnut, okay? And so what Shu did, Shu and Tefnut had children, a set of twins, and this set of twins was named Geb and Nut. And Geb is the earth, male, like I said, and Nut is the sky. And so when they were created, they had a passionate love. And so they were so close together that there was no space between them. And because there was no space between them, nothing on earth could thrive. And so Atum gave Shu the job of keeping them separated. So Shu, as the air, as the firmament, separates Nut, which is the sky, the stars, from Geb, who is the earth. Okay? So when Atum was done ruling, his time was up. He had done it long enough. He turned the kingdom over to Shu and to Tefnut. When he turned the kingdom over to Shu and Tefnut, that is when we entered the golden age. And we were in the golden age for thousands of years. Thousands of years we were in the golden age, okay? But what happened was, because Tefnut was the moisture, the dew, moisture has two forms. It has the dew form, which is gentle, but then it also has a raging form, which is like a torrential downpour. And so because Shu, as an air god, was so know-it-all and calculating, he was basically not taking advantage of Tefnut, but he was not hearing her. She was complaining about things, and he was reasoning them away. Oh, we have to do this because that. Oh, we have to do this because of that. Oh, if we don't do this, then that. Okay? And so as he's reasoning away, she is intuiting something. And he's not paying attention to her because he knows it all. He doesn't need anybody's help. So eventually, she cracks. And she goes off on him. Right? Because Tefnut's form, when she's not in the human form, in the dew form, she's a lioness. And as a lioness, she's clawing his eyes out. And then she leaves. She's like, you know what? You stay here with your kingdom and be happy. I'm going to go somewhere else. And so she leaves. And when she leaves, she takes all the moisture in the kingdom, all the motion in the kingdom with her. And she goes to Nubia. So this sigil is the representation. It is the 2D representation of the solution. And what is the solution? It's the Sabbath. It's rest. It's, no, we're not going to work 24/7, beating ourselves down to accomplish something. It's, we're going to work when there's time to work, and when it's time to rest, we're going to rest. Sometimes it's time to move on. And sometimes you stay and do the work. And you cannot confuse the time to move on with the time to stay and do the work. This is the planetary month, okay? The 10th month of the Zolkin cycle. The 10 is not 10, it's 5. It's 1 and 0. It's 5. When it's together, when it's separate, it's 10. So if we're going to bring the 10 month and turn it into the 5 month, which is what we need to do, we need to turn the 10 into the 5, we have to bring Shu, which is this reasoning mind, together with Tefnut, which is the emotional gentleness. And the only person who could do this was, of course, Thoth, right? So that's me. I'm Wednesday person. I'm tapped into that energy. So this is the solution that I've come up with, that I am now verbally requesting for Shu and Tefnut to acknowledge my solution as a solution that will work, that will solve the problem. Then we have to solve the problem of okay, if they activate all of my sigils related to this Emrudue, they activate all of my sigils in relation to Emrudue, we will solve the problem of Geb Nut, because that is the real problem in this universe. The eternal separation between Geb and Nut. These are lovers. These are star-crossed lovers who want to be together. We need to solve that problem. I will solve that problem if they activate my sigils. How are we going to activate these sigils? We are going to acknowledge the Sabbath. What is the Sabbath? The Sabbath is your breath. It's your very breath. If you have my Rhabdomancy course, you have the video that I made on breathing, okay? That's going to be part of it. The other part of it is, if you don't have my Rhabdomancy course, if you already took it, send me an email and I'll send you the link. If you haven't taken it, it's on my website, okay? But you can look up for free any breathing exercises on the internet, okay? Going back to Sabbath, because I have been, so this month, the energy of this month, why I brought it up, is that this is the month of the protector is Kal, and Kal protects the Sabbath, okay? So I have been trying to figure out, well, what is the Sabbath? Now, I already identified to everybody the most important Sabbath day this month is on November the 6th, okay? So on November the 6th, we are going to do a very important Sabbath ritual. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but I am going to tell you as I figure it out. But before we do the ritual, before we do the Sabbath ritual, we want to see if Tefnut and Shu are going to be willing to accept our request. So this is all, we're all family here. Like, this is a family problem. This is family business that we're going to solve. But we're only going to solve it if they allow us to solve it. Now, we've identified the problem, which is Geb and Nut. That's the problem. We identified the problem. We're going to go in and solve the problem. But we're only going to go in and solve the problem if Shu and Tefnut activate our sigils, okay? So this is my verbal. Before I do anything, before I make any moves, I've already made these sigils. Like I said, a bunch of people have them. They're all over the place. They're all over the place, okay? Or you can make your own. It's Emrudue. For now, as to activate these, right? What we want to do is use them during our meditation. So some people do their meditations during the day. Again, 3 years ago, we got the word to take our meditations very seriously. Now we are reactivating that word. We have to take our meditation very seriously. You can do basic breath work. Like I said, look it up online. If you took my course, you know what breath work I taught people. That's the breath work I suggest. But we're going to do breath work daily. Now, you can do yours in the morning. You can do yours at night. You can do yours for a short amount of time. You can do it for a long amount of time. The whole point is that you have to, again, make your vow. This is an unplanned, unannounced vow day. Okay? Actually, the vow is going to be on the 6th of November, but this is our preparation. Some of these vow days are serious. Some of them are not as serious, but this one is pretty serious. So what I want people to do is, if you already have one of these, do some breath work and ask Shu and Tefnut to activate your sigil. Okay? That's all I can do. I personally cannot activate your sigil that you already have. You can do it though. That's what we're asking. If Shu and Tefnut want me to solve the problem of Geb and Nut, they need to activate the sigil in this manner, because this is the one that people can do. That way, if you have it, when you want to activate it for your energy, all you have to do is use it during your meditation. You can see it in your mind's eye. You can just hold it in your hand. I've been carrying mine around, obviously, in my bra, over my chest, like across my heart. whatever makes sense for you. Because remember, this is folk magic. Folk magic works because it works. No special rituals required, no extra stuff, none of that. It works because it works. And so that's what I'm asking for. I'm asking for it to work because it works. Now, what does Emrudue do? This is why this is important. Emrudue this is a lucky charm. Anybody who carries this charm around is supposed to experience good luck. Okay? That's what this, whether you know what's going on or not know what's going on, you're supposed to be able to experience good luck. You don't have to be in the life. You don't have to be nothing. You could be somebody off the street. If I hand you one of these, the very breath of life should be breathed into you. That's what this is a symbol of. The connection, the delicate balance between the breath of life, Geb and Nut, the earth and the sky. It's a very delicate balance held up by Shu and Tefnut, dividing the sky with the stars, or the outer world, and the earth. Geb and Nut. That's what this is a 2D representation of. I think part of the problem is people think that Shu, or the way I'm hearing the story, is that Shu is the one that's that's separating the earth from the sky, and Tefnut has no role in that, which is nuts. Like, the air is not the only thing. The air is full of moisture. So it's not just the air separating the earth from the sky. It's also the moisture that is that fills the space. It's not just air that fills the space. It's also moisture. That's the best way I can put it. And so we know that Shu is not doing this by himself. And so, and in acknowledging that this is a equal process between Shu and Tefnut, separating Geb and Nut, because we acknowledge that, we are asking for our sigils, or I'm asking for my sigils that I've already drawn to be activated. Now, there's going to be a lot more to this story because this is a very, very complicated story. But I wanted to put that out there because I want to know if they're going to accept my offer. Today is the first day of the week. It's very important. I want to know if they're going to accept my offer, my proposal. Because I can only make the proposal. If they don't want to accept it, fine. We move on to another pantheon. Again, over here, we run through the pantheons. There's a lot of work that has to be done. We don't have time to overdo it. So I will say this. Shu and Tefnut together are Emrudue. But separately, one is Anahiel, which is the leader of the Erkadeshi, and the other one is Rahaviel. I do believe. Let me look at the list. So again, my information is going to be getting some updates. Obviously, yeah, Rahaviel, which is the wind, which is the side of God. So, or either Shu is Rahaviel or Shu is Semi-Heiser. And I'm leaning towards Semi-Heiser. Just personally, because, or Tefnut is what's across from Anahiel? I don't think anything. No, I'm pretty sure Tefnut is Anahiel. Pretty certain. This might just be the Erkadeshi. I would say Shu is Rahaviel. We'll have to get to the Erkadeshi later, but one step at a time. Anahiel is she's the leader of the Erkadeshi. So, and it's crazy because she's the leader of the Erkadeshi. She's 2, on the list of 20, and Rahaviel is 20. So literally the beginning and the end. Well, there's 28. Well, no, there's 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's 24. So she's 2 and he's 20. He is in the east and she is in the west. So sounds about right. So that's what I am making this video about. We want to, in exchange for Shu and Tefnut activating the Emrudue sigil via our breath work, our observation of the Sabbath, because really what it is observing the Sabbath. When you breathe, right, that is your break. You're observing the Sabbath. So in exchange for our observation of the Sabbath, we're going to resolve this issue of Geb Nut. How we're going to do that, I don't know. I'm not looking into it. I'm not thinking about it until my Sabbath is recognized. Like this is our physical representation of Sabbath. So when my Sabbath is recognized and I have a break and I get some peace and I get some resources, I will know that this has been activated, and then I will start to work on this issue of Geb Nut. And I'm not working on it a minute before. And so they can take their time responding. It doesn't matter to me. I got a whole lifetime. And if I die, I got another lifetime after that. And if I die again, I got another lifetime after that. I remember. Okay? So they can take as long as they need to make a decision. The sooner the better, though, because on December the 1st, that's when we start our 260-day cycle. That's vastly important. A video will be coming on that. I don't want to confuse. It's a lot of information running around right now, so I don't want to confuse it. But yeah, that's my. Oh, by the way, so the Egyptian pantheon is tied up with the ALLAHeviathan, and that's why Jesus and David and all these people, they always went to Egypt, because they always went back to the elements to reset. So that's another nice little tidbit of information. That pretty much explains why that information came from tablets, because this has to deal with that whole Egyptology thing, which again is another thing I don't want to talk about. I don't care about that stuff, but we're reuniting the human race, and this is what it takes. So shalom, peace and blessings, and we'll see you in the next video.